In 2023, over 55,000 missing person reports were made to police in Australia. That's over 150 missing events a day. Over half of these were aged between 13 and 17 years old. And luckily, over 99% of people reported missing in 2023 were located. Furthermore, almost all of those were found alive and well. But Australia also currently has over 2,500 people listed as long-term missing persons, meaning they've been missing over 3 months. Some have been missing for decades. This week is Missing Persons Awareness Week here in Australia, so we are encouraging you to go to the missingpersons.gov.au website and look through their photos and see if you recognise anyone. Before we begin, we post death and dying related videos every Friday, so if that sounds like your kind of thing, consider subscribing to the channel. Now let's talk the complicated issue of missing persons. In Australia, a missing person is defined as anyone who is reported missing to the police, whose whereabouts are unknown, and where there are fears for safety or concerns for the welfare of that person. All three of those things are important to that definition. Anyone can go missing, but adults are more likely to go missing long term. As we said, there are currently around 2,500 people listed as long-term missing persons in Australia. But just so we all feel included, let's look at some stats from some other countries as well. Our siblings across the pond, New Zealand has around 11,000 reports of missing people per year, and currently around 250 people listed as long-term missing. Around 200,000 people are reported missing in the UK each year, and they have 5,200 persons listed as long-term missing. The USA has 600,000 reported missing people each year, and over 90,000 people are listed as long-term missing. Why do people go missing? There are a lot of reasons that anyone of any age could go missing. For example, they've gotten lost, including people who have simply become disorientated. For example, if someone took a wrong turn on a hiking trail and can't find their way back to the car. They are voluntarily missing. These include people who have purposefully exited their lives and don't want to be found by friends or family members. They may be fed up with life and want a new identity, or they may be escaping domestic violence, for example. The missing person is under the influence of a third party. Typically, these are people who are missing against their will, such as the case of abduction. The person is missing due to accident, injury, or illness. These include people who are abandoned following a hit and run, or someone with dementia who has wandered away from their home, for example. There are many reasons that someone could go missing. Some reasons are simple, others are complicated. And let's be clear, someone listed as missing is not wanted by the police. They are not on the run. Also, missing persons who are found to be deceased usually haven't been murdered. More likely, they have taken their own life, there's been misadventure, they have been without necessary medication, they've overdosed, or they've been in an accident. Additionally, it's not a crime to go missing, and even if someone reports you missing, that doesn't mean that they have the right to know where you are if you don't want that and you're an adult. Like we said, it's complicated. When can I report a missing person? Anytime you have concerns for the safety and welfare of someone and their whereabouts is unknown to you, you can report them missing to the local police. You do not have to wait 24 hours to report someone missing in Australia, or in the UK or New Zealand for that matter. The USA doesn't make it very easy to find these facts, but the vast majority of states also say that you don't have to wait 24 hours. And if someone out there knows how or why TV shows started showing this, could you let me know in the comments, because I haven't been able to find a definitive answer. In Australia, anyone can be reported missing if their disappearance is out of character and there are concerns for their safety and welfare. What do I do if I see a person I think might be listed as missing? If you have information on a missing person, you should report it to Crime Stoppers on 1800 333 000. Crime Stoppers will refer the information to the relevant missing persons unit or the investigating officer on the case. What happens when an Australian is missing overseas? Where there are concerns for the safety or welfare of an Australian missing overseas, a missing persons report should be made to the local state or territory police, who will then lodge that report with the DFAT. Depending on the circumstances of the report, they may also lodge it with Interpol to facilitate international cooperation in investigating the whereabouts of that person. Remember that video we did a while back on what happens if you die overseas? Well, this is the other side of that horrible equation. So if you are traveling overseas, please put things in place so you can be found sooner rather than later. And if you're enjoying this video, please show us some love and click the like and subscribe buttons. And if you really like it, perhaps consider sharing it with others. Now we're going to move on to what happens if someone you know goes missing. Someone's missing, what do I do? In the immediate moment, make a report to the police, write down everything you know about them, enlist people to help with the search, and create posters and distribute it. In the first week, use volunteers to search. Think about using social media, but be careful how you do so. Consider a private detective and contact the media. In the first month, recontact the media, create new print materials, grow your web presence, contact the federal police, and start managing their affairs. Long term, expand the search, contact family tracing services, have an age progression image made, and apply to have an inquest opened. A link to all this info and more is in the video description. Ambiguous loss and grief. Ambiguous loss is the loss that occurs without a significant likelihood of reaching emotional closure or a clear understanding. This kind of loss leaves a person searching for answers and thus complicates and delays the process of grieving and often results in unresolved grief. This is what families and friends of many long-term missing persons deal with. When someone is missing long-term, you don't know whether they are alive or not. Should you be grieving or should you be out there searching? It's been a year. Should you tell the electric company in their apartment to turn off the power? It's been 2 years. You told the kids that you would go on a family trip for your son's graduation. Do you do that or not? And not everyone is going to feel the same. If your teenager has been missing for a year, one parent may have given up work and be out looking aimlessly all day, and the other wants to find the child but understands that they really have nothing to go on and that the bills need to be paid. This, along with everyone else's opinions, creates more conflict and anguish. Effectively, if they are missing long term, to you, they are neither dead nor alive. Your emotions are swimming in a grey area. It's why when someone has been missing for a year and they're found deceased, there is still a massive sense of relief in just knowing one way or the other. In these cases, hope can be soul-destroying. Please go to your country's missing person database. I'll link some of them in the description and have a look through for a bit. If you see someone you think you recognize, call the hotline to report any information you might have. It might be a small piece of information that helps find them, and you can remain anonymous. And with that, go talk death.